You won't believe this one. A Nigerian king, a sitting monarch, has just been sentenced to over 5 years in a US prison for COVID-19 fraud.
Osun monarch sentenced for COVID-19 fraud in US. A Nigerian monarch, Oba Joseph Oloyede, the Apetu of Ipetu-Modo in Osun State, has been sentenced to over 4 years in prison for COVID-19 fraud.
How can a sitting king end up swapping his royal crown for prison stripes in the US? This sets up to be a very interesting story. So, if you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. It's 2020. The world is on its knees. The COVID-19 pandemic is spreading like wildfire, forcing cities into lockdown, crippling economies, and leaving millions jobless. Businesses are collapsing, unemployment skyrocketing. People are desperate. They are worried about the next week, the next month, the next day. Now, in the United States, the government scrambled to prevent a full-blown economic meltdown out of urgency. They launched massive relief programs to help struggling small businesses to protect jobs and just basically help the life of ordinary Americans. Millions and millions of dollars flow into the economy. Business owners share and people work easier. It makes life a lot more easy for people. Now, while America is, applauding its saviors, in the shadows, others were plotting and calculating. They were scheming. This Oba Samuel Oloyede, a naturalized US citizen and Apetu of Ipetu-Modo of Osun State, Nigeria. He was a respected community leader and tax preparer. But behind the scenes, US federal investigators claim that he masterminded a multi-million-dollar fraud scheme using COVID-19 relief programs through lots of shadow companies. These things were meant to save struggling businesses. And of course, he didn't act alone. His partner was a 62-year-old Ohio pastor. Yeah, a man of God named Pastor Edward Oluwasomi. Now, between April 2020 and February 2022, Oloyede and Edward Oluwasomi set their sights on two major federal relief programs created under the CARES Act: the Paycheck Protection Program and the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, EDIL. Now, these programs were designed to help small businesses survive the pandemic. But instead, these two people weaponized the system. Now, how did they pull this off? Well, Oloyede, who operated as a tax preparer, owned 5 businesses and a non-profit, while his co-conspirator, Pastor Edward Oluwasomi, set up 3 additional businesses. Well, at least on paper. So, together, these guys built an elaborate network of companies that became the foundation of their fraud. Over nearly 2 years, they submitted 38 fraudulent applications for SBA loans and grants, using these entities as fronts to siphon funds and make their requests look legitimate. So essentially, they falsified payroll records, inflated revenue figures, and even created fake employee lists, carefully crafting a financial illusion, convincing enough to, warrant them getting lots and lots of money in COVID-19 relief funds. Oloyede also used his clients' information without their knowledge to submit fake applications in their names. In exchange, he demanded 15 to 20% kickbacks from every loan he secured. So, in total, Oloyede and Oluwasomi caused the SBA to approve $4.2 million in fraudulent loans. Make the conversion in Naira. Now, Oloyede's businesses took about $1.7 million. Oluwasomi's entities pocketed $1.2 million. The rest came from client-related scams. In July 2024, Edward Oluwasomi, the so-called man of God, was sentenced to 27 months in prison. He was also fined $15,000 and ordered to pay $1.2 million in restitution, and he forfeited a commercial property and over $600,000 in fund proceeds. Now, the Oba tried pleading for leniency, telling the court that the pandemic put him under financial pressure and he feared for his health and safety. Unfortunately for him, the court wasn't buying it. He got 57 months in a federal prison, 3 years of supervised release, and has to repay over $4.4 million. Authorities also seized his Medina home and nearly $100,000 in cash. Now, you might be wondering, or you might be thinking, good riddance. But as a Nigerian trying to make your way in society and in the international community, this isn't great news. Because whether we like it or not, it's cases like this that affect how the world sees Nigerians. It shapes how immigration officers treat our passports, how visas get approved, and even how ordinary Nigerians abroad are perceived. If you're thinking about to japa or to go to the US or anywhere else, this might hit a lot closer to home than you think. Okay, so let's be honest. The Nigerian passport hasn't exactly been the most respected travel document in the world. Even before this case, Nigerians faced extra scrutiny at airports, embassies, and consulates, especially with the Nigerian name being dragged through the mud by internet fraudsters or Yahoo boys.
The Nigerian Instagram celebrity, who was arrested on multiple fraud charges for crimes committed in different parts of the world, boasted about his wealth and expensive possessions on social media, claiming he is a successful businessman.
Tell me, a Nigerian man get mind, Nigerian Yahoo boy, get mind, do Trump, President of America.
So, when a sitting monarch, somebody who is supposed to represent culture, tradition, integrity, gets busted for a multi-million-dollar US fraud, it just makes things worse. Visa processing takes a dive, background checks gets borderline invasive. Honest Nigerians who could have the cleanest record in the world will pay the price for a crime they didn't commit. And it's not just about the US. Other countries take notes too. Canada, the UK, Australia, Europe. High-profile cases like this gets governments to quietly start reviewing their immigration policies. Now, is this unfair? Absolutely. But it's the reality. If you're someone dreaming of jackbuying or going to the US or anywhere else, the path just got a little more gnarly. The stakes are higher now, and one wrong move on your paperwork, one inconsistency in your application, it could be enough to land you in the rejection pile with hundreds of dollars in the mud. Now, while the global doors feel like they are getting smaller, there's another door we don't talk about. One right here at home. That sort of segues us into Nigerians looking to migrate but not considering all of their options. Why are you putting all your hopes abroad, while your best strategy might just be back home and might be a more profitable move?
We've introduced a deportation bill because we're committed to bringing immigration down. Back in February, we demanded Labour triple the time for new immigrants to get a British passport. They voted it down. And now they brought in some half-assed version that's not going to work. Here's what will work. Deport all foreign criminals. Mandatory age checks. No more pretending to be kids. Tougher visa rules and salary thresholds. Disapply the Human Rights Act to immigration cases. No more abusing human rights laws to dodge deportations. Make asylum support repayable. And no permanent right to stay in the UK.
Okay, see. Let's be real here. The jackpot dream is alive and strong, and everybody wants a better opportunity, access to better systems, a better life. And that's perfectly understandable. But putting all your hopes abroad is risky. And here's the situation. While the world is making it harder to get in, Nigeria is growing in ways a lot of people aren't paying attention to, especially when it comes to real estate. So new estates are springing up, land values are doubling, and in shorter time too. Urban migration is pushing housing demand through the roof. Let's take Lagos for example. Iko Atlantic City is rising from the ocean. Yes, it is designed to compete with global hubs. Alaro City within the Lekki Free Zone is booming with investments, and areas like Ibeju Lekki, Sangotedo, and Aja are rapidly becoming hotbeds for property growth. So while some people are struggling to get approved for a $40,000 study or a work visa abroad, some other people are quietly buying land for $10,000 here, and 5 years later, it's worth over $50,000. You're not going to the embassy for interviews or getting 18-page visa forms or providing your grandmother's date of birth. It's your own thing. It's yours. And obviously, it's not just about making money. It's also about building a safety net. Think of real estate as like a plan B. So, if the immigration system delays you, denies you, or keeps shifting the goalposts, because, they are. Look at the US. Your investment at home doesn't really care. It will appreciate quietly, giving you leverage for the future. Plus, speaking of impact, investing locally isn't just good for your pocket. It's good for the country. Every plot you buy, every apartment you build, every estate you contribute to, you're part of something bigger. Jobs get created, infrastructure develops, and you actually take a stake in Nigeria's growth.
I will not have the guts of talking to anybody to come and invest in Nigeria if I am not leading. So the question that you have to even ask is that if I had invested this $25 billion in the likes of Microsoft, Tesla, Google, and co, I would have been worth $125 billion. But I'm not worth $125 billion because I choose to invest at home.
Now, look, we are not saying don't relocate. By all means, chase your dreams abroad if that's your plan, but play it smart. Diversify. If you're earning in dollars, invest in Naira. If you're building a life overseas, build a foundation back home too. Something to rely on. Because the opportunities in Nigeria, yes, they are messy, but they are wide open for anyone bold enough to grab them. Would you rather invest in Nigeria or fully focus on relocating abroad? If so, why? What are your thoughts? Let's have a conversation in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps us with the algorithm. And because we'll keep bringing you stories that connect global news, Nigerian realities and real opportunities you can act on, we believe will be of value to you. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.